versus Feint. I didn't see this match at all. I mean, that's usually the case for me with ESEA games. But it's always interesting to see how things go. And yeah, just outside of this, I can't really keep up to it too much. It just happens that time. So Ascent, I think this is the first game I've seen of them. Main, which we've seen last week a little bit against Troya Black, where they weren't able to contest too much. They got around on the board. On Sunshine, this is Gully, a completely different story. And Happy Cool gets sent flying by spam onto Bear immediately. I mean, it's in some ways better. At least he uses the opportunity, but you know, still a lot of damage coming in there. Another stick onto the combo. Bear goes super weak. So the classic strat of just trying to spam down the medic as early as possible. Not actually ending up killing Bear though. So that plan didn't go too well. Duffy and Marmaduke are having a fight in lower. Trying to just spam each other out a bit. Everybody else on the send. Both soldiers low as well for the spam onto the medic. So that's pretty, I wouldn't say super common strat, but it's seen every once in a while. So for Daffy, the only one who wants to do it. Ash coming forward aggressive as well. Showstopper rotates in to tag in for his soldier. Picks up the kill for him. So that ended up getting a kill that pretty nicely between the two soldiers on the ground for Ascent. Bane having to play with one down after they take space on top here. So Ascent immediately in a better position. Marmaduke has gotten heals as well, so he's able to jump if he needs to. Sampless finds him. Showstopper still there. Now just a matter of playing the numbers correctly, and so far they are causing hits. A nice little arrow there. Yite wants to commit onto the people on the low ground, finds himself in front of nothing really. Marmaduke takes the opportunity to go all the way through drop down and just farms behind, gets the medic. And Feint was already stuck in the position where they needed to leave, so that was really good by Marmaduke to wrap in behind there. Just unable to get that kill, doesn't matter really. Selga chases it down in the end. Yeah, that was pretty good. Early spam into just playing position correctly, spam the first, or the second kill I should say, down relatively quickly. And quick play into drop down on top of that to just stop the exit completely. It wouldn't even have mattered if how many he got there, as long as he got Bear with that. That's the minimum. Really want there? Anyway, it got them into this position, so now you just need to execute from here. Let's see, everybody's in river right now, which is really weird. But not necessarily terrible. He flash in onto Ash and Sai. Everybody else just waits, both Solis and a Scout. Daffy wants to go behind, and he has the opportunity, same with Yite. Which I don't know if I like having both soldiers behind here, but having one is certainly a decent idea. Lags a bit under the point. Under point is completely open. They have sticks, so it's not the end of the world, but Alec and Marmaduke are just going to the points right now. The sentry didn't do a whole lot though. Oh, the sentry actually, the Uber didn't do a whole lot. They didn't really get like any position out of it yet. After the Uber fades, only taking down the sentry here, which took the entire Uber. But, like I said, under point was completely open. Marmaduke and Santa, or Alec get themselves in a position where Showstopper jumps with really good timing actually to get Bear, delay these guys trying to get onto the point, takes a bunch of time away, but where are people? Nobody's committed. Showstopper's super weak, needs an arrow. Saigai didn't want to come in the meantime as well, has no sticks at the point until now. And then Showstopper just awkwardly stands on a point for another second. This was like, this was really weird. This was both really good and really bad. Like at the same time by both teams. Like the point play was really good, but Uber was really bad, and the hold was really good up until the fact that like they could go both studies behind, but they didn't need to. They needed to have something actually be at the point on Feint's end here. So both teams had some decent stuff and some pretty bad stuff there, but the sense advantage coming in was just still not big enough, or still big enough for that to work. This time no heavy spam early on. Same position though, as Ascent trying similar things, but not really going for the big damage this time, just Ascent having the soldiers on the ground. Marmaduke and Showstopper down there. And again, the Daffy dies to the Solis down there. Yate just jumps over, it's pretty common. Gets a kill of the Showstopper of that, so that trades out the player immediately. Could be worse. Sandless wants to commit. I think he wanted to get the soldier now, but just dropped down, unfortunately. which is pretty bad, because this is a really tough position. Marmaduke goes all the way to Yite, which is interesting. You don't see that all too often. There, the soldier can be bothered going all the way over there, especially with everybody still being pretty much up. Ooh, Ash gets spammed on in the meantime. Ascent, really passive off the back of knowing where Yite is, wanting to take care of him first, but letting Feint take a bunch of position. Trade out the kill with Yite immediately. So it's not too bad. Happy Cool, Sampless, Xayla all commit really far forward. Bear stays back, tries to arrow Kozen. Or Saigai, one of the two. And Feint just wants to play aggressive here. Able to get some stuff done with that. So after the first few kills, just the pure reaction to what Yite was doing decided how this went. That Ascent played as passive as they did. And Feint with some confidence here, walking forward, getting stuff done. Marmaduke wants to jump onto Demo Man. Doesn't see how many people are around that. Doesn't get much out of that one. Leaves second to the spawner, which is... Well, can be good and bad, because point play is not on the table right now, so this Uber just needs to kill stuff as much as possible. Marmaduke being dead helps, so they only need to get one to still keep the number set up. But that still needs to happen. And Sampler's running on the point right now, just doesn't do anything for another few seconds. Kozen will die here, which is decent. So at least if any of this goes bad now, that might actually crater him. Didn't. They would keep Uber's ad, but there we go. Xayla gets another one, spam somebody down on the door. Ad goes down. That's 2 with the spawner coming in. It's still 2 ad. In terms of players. Second, it's taking forever, and Samplers is actively not doing anything right now. Which isn't helping the situation. So Feint has a lot of time here. Or Feint, I say. Ascent have a lot of time here to try to make things better for themselves, but they eventually just don't have the numbers anymore. So I got the last one up. There we go. Yes, Handless was a bit early on the point, I think. This wouldn't have been that close if they just played it more according to the time on the point. But overall, solid. With what they had to deal with, got the sentry quickly. All that stuff. So far, not the worst gully pushes I've seen. By any means. Everything... I mean, it still works in the end for the pushing team, and that's what you want on a new band. So yeah, pretty quick game so far. Nothing, like, weird to too much of an extent here. Soldiers again for Ascent on the low area, just spamming, trying to get something done, waiting for an opportunity to jump. Again, Defi just becomes the target here, seeing as every single time. They pair up 2v1 on the ground, so he just has to worse end on this fight. Escapes this time, but kind of weak. Yite jumps forward, really strangely though. Because there's not much for him to get. Good rocket onto Ash, but he takes so much damage for it. That needs to be a direct. And it is not. And that sticky misses as well. Saigai takes a bunch of damage to Xayla crossing with the distraction. So that more or less works, but scouts aren't with him. And that's a big old problem, because he gets dropped down by Alex's scattergun. Showstopper transform, Marmaduke comes in from drop down as well. Defi has his eyes on it, question mark? I don't see it from this angle. Anyway, that was not the best attempt by Feint to try to go forward. Hi, Cody. Or by Feint to go forward. It was a little bit discoordinated. The scouts were not on the same pitch as the demo, the soldier. Or as a single distraction was a pretty easily deniable jump, so Yite died with that as well. They still do get the better end here, Showstopper dies. They get Marmaduke from drop down. So eventually it works for Feint still. And least convincing midwinds so far here, as both medics did stay alive. Ascent didn't even lose that many numbers, only the soldiers went down. Feint still tries to pressure with that. They saw them come through Victor, so they try to pressure from choke with people, while combos are meeting each other up on Victor. And if they're that far, they might as well just try for a proper force, especially if they don't end up committing. But they kind of just don't, and Defi is just leaving like way too late, and it's really, really risky, and he's lucky to get out of that. I don't know, they got this far. I feel like they should have just put in that extra effort. Maybe exam. So yeah, I feel like Feint should have just gone the extra mile and actually throw a player in. It's a stalemate anyway, so sooner or later you would start attacking anyway, so why not use the best opportunity you already have here. Anyway, they get that Happy Cool behind. Pretty free, they didn't really have to do anything for that. I don't know if Ascent even noticed. And again, without them noticing, it's not really that scary. No, they definitely do know. Yeah, and I can Showstopper checking for it. So they know the player's behind. Question is, what can Feint actually do with that? The answer is Daffy eventually jumps in. That just about didn't work. That was actually really lucky as well. That helped a bit that Happy Cool was behind there because people obviously were going back trying to deal with that, so few less players was frozen. But again, we had like a much better opportunity immediately at the beginning of the statement where he already got through. Sure, there were scouts around, but would have been so much faster. Now they have to sack 2 for the same effort. So Ascent just wants to take the exchange, except Ash isn't hitting shots, so Bear has to pop super late. Marmaduke just dies around the corner to Xela sticks. Ash passes us forward, which is interesting. Because Xela's a little bit alone, but at the same time, sure he might get the Demo Man, but this isn't looking too fancy for his team here. They just go for Kozen first, everything else afterwards. Now Alec is hitting shots. But I think the damage might have been done already. So just a little bit of a DM fight. Looks like I said. He dies, Marmaduke comes in, wants to clean up some. Ooh, actually does hit some shots. Happy Cool needs to save the situation here. So yeah, it became a huge mess in the end. And it's mostly because, despite Feint being able to pop as late as they did on the on mid here, they still were letting Kozen get too far away, so they had to chase super far, which left just Samplers with the medic in the end. So Alec could just pass over. It made it become just a huge mess of a fight, where it clearly shouldn't have been. It definitely helped that, who was it, Ash I think, passed it into mid to get onto Xela. Because having a demo on that Uber would have just been amazing. But they wanted to preserve lives and didn't get the scout. They're still better for Feint in the end. Ascent were the ones initiating and now they're on the back foot here, so... Yeah, if you want to take an exchange like that aggressively, you need to actually get the force out. Happy Cool on Spider? No, if they, yeah, they spotted him. There's no way they didn't. Suddenly the spam everywhere. Also on the sentry, so at least they're making use of this opportunity. There we go, Happy Cool gets taken down. Sand tries to throw something in, doesn't get too far. Marmaduke down. And it's a one-player add-on holding Galilas. There's not too much you can do here. Like, this is holdable with 2 down on second, so... the best you can do is at least try to force. Maybe you get lucky. Maybe... yeah, out of position. Alright, we have the classic thing of somebody tries to play the point, everybody else tries to throw something in. He doesn't really get to the point. Oh, actually he hit some shots straight in the end. Better than I anticipated, but... you know, that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for an actual bit of time on the point to distract, to get people to commit so they have an easy time forcing. Or something like that. Sentry gun on river doesn't help, or near river doesn't help, because it would just throw people away trying to jump. What's the plan this time? Happy Cool goes towards under, but doesn't actually commit. Now he does. But now Marmaduke is there, they had lots of time to actually commit to that. So that's just the standard careful prodding, trying to just like get the one distraction you need for Galilas, but so far it's not happening. Ascent is playing rather careful. Daffy throws himself in. Happy Cool walks in with that, which is interesting. Daffy gets out with that as well, and meanwhile Happy Cool on to the point. Takes a lot of attention away. Daffy gets chased down though. And I feel like Happy Cool needed to be on the point a lot sooner. But they kinda used Daffy jumping to get him there in the first place. Which is a little bit backwards. It could still work, but Daffy would have to like get in a lot safer, and that's just not happening. He's the one leading in. Anyway, Ascent, again, aggressive. Trying to get in from top here, and I don't actually know who popped first, because I didn't see if Bear flashed somebody at the beginning of this. Bottom line is though, Ascent ends up flashing a lot, and drop Marmaduke in the meantime. Suddenly these 2 picks don't really mean anything, because they're spawning already. The Uber is fading quickly. And they just need to leave. So exchanges for Ascent, so far not a strong point. Did you just steal the rocket launcher? So Feint just doing what they needed to do there, just hold them off, wait for time to get the spawners back on the field. Standard stuff doesn't really get them advantage, but it doesn't lose them the point. Yite jumps in high, Sandflash onto the point. Might actually kill Ash here, which would be kinda nice. No, he doesn't in the end. So again, 2 down. Ash still dies to spam. Daffy passively commits, but doesn't really like go deep with that, which makes sense. They already lost 2, they can't really afford anyone else. So same idea here again, Soldier in for the scout on the point, which is pretty much backwards to what EU does in that sense, where it's first play on the point and then the Soldier jumping in. That's like an interesting little difference, I assume, but it so far isn't really working, because this isn't Badlands, you don't cap that fast. Anyway, they just used the opportunity, throws snipe on the point, and doesn't last really long. So Fane slowly but surely running out of options here. And this is ESEA we're speaking of, so playing for time means he would have to do it twice in a row, basically. So again, that's also not much of an option, to be honest. So what can they do here now? They got a kill. Saiga is so aggressive here right now. And there's like literally nothing for him to get here. So, on the flip side, in favor of Feint, is the fact that Ascent has been unable to leave this for this same amount of time despite double sacks. So they can feel relatively safe doing a lot of stupid shit here. Speaking of stupid shit, Showstopper tries to sag in from lobby. Actually gets a bit far, but doesn't matter in the end. Will Sandblast play Sniper again? No, he does not. Hasn't... Like, Ascent hasn't really given him chances yet. They spammed him down really well so far. Like every time he tried to get a shot, he just died. Which is a plus. So at least Ascent can hold this. But that doesn't mean much on a tight scoreline. Saiga is just getting more and more aggressive as well. Which I can't really blame him. It doesn't help to hold, but at the same time nothing's happening, so you might as well try. Anyway, Sailor tries to make some space, Happy Cool tries to walk in again. I assume somebody was supposed to walk in. The Saiga is so aggressive. Like, he will just die at one point and then it's gonna be pushable, I imagine. Like, somebody would have had to just hide in the corner behind him at that point, and it would have been like curtain swipe. Like, it will happen at some point. It's a big old stalemate. Daffy sacks, doesn't get really far. They throw in 2 more. Desperate measures. Kills Marmaduke, so they don't actually just go to, down 2, they actually go down 2 for 1. Which is a lot better. They really don't have to be scared of the push now. Most that happens is Showstopper coming forward, walking into a trap. That's the end of that. Ooh, this is interesting now. They only have 4 as well now. And Ascent is getting the first spawn already. So right now this is a 4v5 push. Trying to just get onto Saigai before he gets back to the beam, but he does. Kozen's just keeping it on it. That was really brave by Kozen. I mean, it wouldn't be like a lost cause if they dropped the Demo Man. But it also wouldn't be really that helpful. Sailor's getting sticked off as well. Didn't wait a second there, I feel like he maybe could have, but either way it just delays his death. Because there's no way he survives that. So it doesn't matter, he just juggled him. Same result in the end. Just get out. Yeah, I don't know about this commit here by Feint. Like, yeah, they're running out of ideas pretty much noticeably so. Because nothing so far has worked even in any capacity. But this was a 5v4 push basically. Anyway, then Happy Cool just gets behind, and I don't know how. But neither does Ascent, I would imagine. Did he kill anyone on the way? Yes, he killed Showstopper. Well, that explains a lot. So 1 player left behind on last. So eventually, again, a weak push out of the last for Ascent. That's how it ends. Which is a little bit underwhelming, because Feint really hasn't looked strong into last either. Outside of, you know, the ad situation, which was a pretty clean push, but out of the stalemate they haven't been able to get anything. Anyway, different story this time. Yite just straight commits for Saigai. Actually able to get that kill pretty freely. Might even able to get some more damage in. If he can reload a rocket here. In the meantime, both scouts just double commit onto Marmaduke, who's stuck in a fight with Daffy. So they're catching onto stuff here. Like, Ascent has done the same thing with the soldiers every time, which is just show here, Marmaduke here, one left, one right, low ground. Trying to just spam down either the medic early or Defi before he jumps. So they just commit to one with like 3 people before they do anything, and it's all fine from there. While Yite commits, so nobody actually can help out in the meantime. And Yite actually getting completely in for free. Getting the Devilman make things even better. Kozen managed to get out, which is a big bullet point here, because it just means we're in the same stalemate again. And that's all time remaining, plus like or minus a minute. So let's see if they start getting new ideas, or if baiting them to push is all they have. Which, granted, it's not a terrible idea, but it's really obvious. Like a lot of the time. Happy Cool just gets in for free, holy shit. Nobody saw that coming. Good stuff by Kozen there. Like, they were so taken by surprise by Happy Cool just being behind them. But then Yite also dies. And I don't know where that happened. That's 3 down. They really want them to commit to a push here. And the double sacks clearly haven't been getting the results they want. So triple sacks it is, I imagine. Intentionally or not, I don't know what happened to Yite. But 3 died, and it's still not enough. They just drop a player. Ascent still unable to leave last. And in a strange turn of events, Ascent, or not Ascent, Feint actually just commits to this with Diva. Which is interesting, because once again, they don't have any good advantages here. Realistically, Alec just spawns now, or Ash, I don't know who died, one of the two. And suddenly this is just a normal exchange here into last. It helps that there's no sentry they have to get rid of, so at least they get this exchange. So there's that, but unless they have a plan here, I don't see what's the point. And it's not like they hadn't had the sentry down to begin with beforehand. Because they did, they were able to spam that down pretty consistently. Epical is under the point. Everybody keeps putting up pressure. Marmaduke wants to take a fight with Death. He takes the worst, and for now, actually, he might die. He's actually serves it out, which is really good. Happy Cool plays the point. Everybody needs to reload though, so it's not perfectly timed by any means. Everybody has time to commit. And yeah, this was not well timed at all. Because they were spamming before Happy Cool was on the point, but not as he was on the point. So everybody was just too far away to actually put up pressure with the back cap, or with the cap. It wasn't even a back cap. And in the end it was just cap time. Ascent took care of that and then could go forward and deal with the people spamming again. And Feint just reacted too slowly to downplay. And this leads to actually leaving Arcee for once. Ascent gets out due to a failed play. Question is how much they can do with that. We haven't seen this too much, so let's see. Yite just jumps in, decent rocket, not enough. Again, good stuff by Kozen. Just takes a direct in the face. Ascent's response is pretty much nothing. Somebody wants to drop down but doesn't commit. So this is where the game will stay for a little bit longer, I would imagine. Patient over to big door, people spamming each other, Happy Cool. Feeds. In a normal world, this would mean he wants to go sniper. Because that's how somebody that wants to go sniper looks like. Anyway, big jump by Marmaduke, but it kind of sinks himself to death. Ooh, who would have thought Happy Cool go sniper? So that's not surprising necessarily. And it shouldn't be for Ascent either. Like, they didn't check it, but it should be obvious if a scout does something like that. More and more spam. At least now it's obvious, because now he definitely revealed himself. So they know there's a sniper. They need to play around it. Sideline is there, but it's not scary all by itself. Unless you can make people actually commit to standing inside it. Which is the interesting part here, because trying to avoid the sideline here leaves to losing a lot of space in big doors, so everybody just takes space here. Yeah, it gets super close. And all of Feint as well with that. But they're using the space given to them pretty nicely. Pickle tries to take better sidelines slowly but surely. All in the meantime, what they need is just something, because of Victor like that, to happen in their face. Because eventually this just gets too uncomfortable for Ascent. They just give up way too much of the sideline trying to play that, passively trying to avoid it. So they give up so much space on Victor that they can get onto here. In the moment somebody turns the corner trying to deal with that alone and just gets spammed down by 3 people. Paint gets in here. Try to just take this in, want to take the exchange. Definitely from behind as well. Just comes in for free as well while everybody comes over here. Everybody just neglected him. So that's easy spam. They still use first. But for all intents and purposes, they are more or less in. Yeah, he goes to deal with Saigai, which again also should just be a free kill here. Having the sniper here right now though might have gotten him to the position, but it's still a sniper and all he does is deny the sideline, so as long as the fight isn't here, doesn't help. Paint goes back again. Yeah, unable to actually get Saigai. Saigai manages to escape, Marmaduke jumps him instead. So this is far from over. Definitely comes in as well with that. Eventually I need a decent angle here, that's a little bit better. So I can see inside and outside of second. There we go. Messy fight eventually leads to sideline coming into play. No heals anymore, now it's just a matter of keeping Bear alive. Yeah, it actually manages to push back Marmaduke. So yeah, just secure the kills outside second, have your eyes at lobby, which is Yait's job at this point. Nobody checks for Saigai. That could have ended bad. Nobody checked up top. But that was pretty solid. They used the space with the sniper really well there. Shut down people, like Yate going into with the Uber into lobby. Worked really well as well. And then they just get out-DM'd here. Just trying to walk this in against people that are already spawning. So much for that. So that was just a lack of patience in playing together. And they just fed in one by one. But the into second, that was really nice actually. It wasn't like a huge advantage situation either, they just kind of forced their way into Victor really far to get a kill, even without a sniper actually. To just take this fight and have people have to commit to the sideline where the Uber fight is happening. Get another shot. Burst of the Uber into lobby to just get people out, and at that point you like outnumber them really hard on second. And it didn't even matter, the side guy didn't actually die. Anyway, they come in here with advantage, just scare them away. Actually bleed a lot of players, but they still have this advantage here, and in the end both teams lost the same amount of soldiers here, so not too big a deal. And it's better than getting foresight to match. So that still works for Feint just fine. Ascent sets up. Big spam in chat. And once again, last stalemate with Feint in the power position of, you know, just being able to sit here if they need to. And admittedly, so far, that's been what they've been looking better at than actually trying to get in. Arguably. Because Ascent also looks pretty comfortable sitting on last themselves. And conversely not really too much getting out of it. Surprised the sentry gets spammed this easily with coming down on the field. Anyway, definitely just brute forces his way in. Happy Cool dies somewhere. I don't know where that happened. Anyway, 2 down before the force. But the force came out this time. Which is a big improvement to pretty much every other force attempt we've seen so far this game. Where did Happy Cool die? Oh, there he died. Never mind, he just walked in with the soldier. That explains a lot, actually. Which also means there must have been no sticks on the shutter door. Speaking of sticks, it's like I'm rotating over here. 9 dead, doesn't get anything. Okay, they got this ad for the play they made. It worked. Nobody can show for playing slow. Definitely wants to get behind. Which means they'll probably all end up in the fight here in a moment. While on the combo side of things, the push comes in over the sentry, or trying to, takes a bit time here. Ooh, I like that by Sailor. He wanted to get the NG for sure as well. Which is pretty big actually, that's a safe kill, and the NG can't switch off. So he just aimed past the sentry a bit. Got the NG man. Saigai gets killed by people just being flashed over the point with the scouts. I think 1 under, 1 over the point. And that's the round. Again, on ad, Feint looks pretty solid. In stalemate, they struggle quite a bit, it seems. Anyway, this is halftime, because we reached number 3 on the score.
Alert. The control point is being captured.
What's the time? Doesn't tell you after halftime shit.
Alert. The control point
Maybe once the next one starts. But Feint has been managing the lead pretty nicely though.
control point is being captured.
All things considered, they only once lost second after they were on last. So for as much as they struggled getting like into last, they also didn't give it up anymore. So there we go. We have the timer back on the chat. Marmaduke. Okay, color switch, so that's confusing as always, but let's just try to roll with it. Ascent switching it up, Marmaduke just goes in aggressively, immediately deals so much damage with that actually. Nothing did die, so something needs to happen with that first. Yite just tries to be annoying from the corner. They all have to, like, well, they don't have to, but they are concerned about it. Which wastes time. Showstopper wins the fight with Death, he ends up weak as well. Samplers immediately kills him. And Yite just being in the corner actually bought that bit time here that they needed to heal people back up. Everybody was super weak, and now they're just all pretty much like normal max health, unbuffed. Which is quite important. Yite just jumps like at them, not really into them. And with the soldiers already down, they just end up leaving. Nothing dramatic here, just the soldiers not being able to do enough for Ascent. When in comparison, Yite just kind of waddled at them and distracted everybody from getting follow-up damage. So that worked for Feint, I guess. Not like the most outstanding bit fight, but it will do. And they want to carry this forward as much as they can. See Alec being really slow out of mid. So they really want to kill him as quickly as they can. Happy Cool gets some help there in time, so that works. Both medics have exactly even, they both get now. They already got a kill here. Sen, with the spawns coming in now and only losing 2 on the mid fight, don't really want to give this up, so Feint playing this quickly here is interesting, because it doesn't really happen all the time. Off of just 2 people dying on mid, especially 2 for 1. So the fact that Alec was where he was is probably just a consequence of playing as fast as they were, and Ascent not expecting it. A lot of spam, but Ascent took a long time rotating. Like I mentioned, they didn't see them coming that fast, so Alec died. Dropped the player already, they let them in as fast as they did, and they just end up giving them second for free anyway. So just a nice bit of quick pressure. Works well enough for Feint. And once again, they're in what seems like their favorite position, which is having the lead on Galilars. And again, they just throw in Daffy and a Happy Cool from Shudder, trying to get something done. End up going down 3 for 1, as Sandblast also commits late, trying to clean something up. So again, they're just really confidently losing players here, because so far it wasn't much of an issue. Marmaduke commits alone, or at least like way ahead of the rest of the team. Big jump by Saigai, not being scared at all. Drops 2 players from this Uber and still forces it anyway. So pretty huge. They're messing up there a bit and works well for Sen. Still having 2 down, no sticks, 1 less soldier to spam, but also a spy behind from the stalemate. And beef the stab. Nobody there to help out either. Mission squandered. So that was pretty good by Saigai to jump there. Ascent just has given Feint way too much respect on second. Let's see how it looks on the other end here. If he tries to jump, doesn't really find anything. Yite is kind of there, but just kind of walks for a scout. And that's kind of not worth the effort. So they end up dying 2 for 1. Ad is closing down, so the window of opportunity is with that as well. Looks like they're still trying. Just straight in from Shudder. Sentry taken down immediately, would have died to the sticky anyway, so he just switches off into the combo. Bear gets in time, doesn't die, didn't even like go into spawn either. So just solo onto Sandblast, forced him out. Maybe get some damage on the board while the Uber's flashing off them. Everybody else gets through spawn as well. Now the hiding in the corner could be a big deal. Anyway, something should die here, and it's probably Alec. Because there's no way he survives that. Sandblast wants some more. There's still Uber left with that as well. Nobody has seen Marmaduke left yet. Wants to just go for the point. Gets dead on immediately. Nice by Sailor. And just a little bit too ambitious by Ascent. Off of too little of an advantage. Nothing much more to say about that. And if they had a better opportunity, Bear would have probably played a little bit more passive in spawn. But he pretty much got the moment they came in, so he just didn't even bother going back. It made perfect sense. They got 2 kills with this. We're just able to carry this forward back into second. Of those kills, with the momentum they had, works immediately the way they want to. So 3-1 lead stays intact for Feint. And with respect to building a center, might add here not a huge amount, but ooh. They're just rotating over with 2 soldiers and a scout. Catch Daffy a bit too far forward. Quick combined damage. Nothing huge, but well done. And they sent Marmaduke playing with that. I don't know if somebody noticed. Maybe Yite is going back for that, probably. Yeah, he just jumps over him. We'll get the banner of that exchange. Alec tries to pressure on the now flank choke side of things here. Doesn't get onto Happy Cool though. And with the flank play on Marmaduke being denied early on, there's not much they could actually do with that. Despite how quickly they dealt with Daffy coming into this. Sampler's feeds and choke. That is such an obvious feat that I just think he's going sniper. Marmaduke is. Yite feeds as well. What are they keep jumping in for? Am I missing something here? I mean, I guess he had the opportunity with no demo choke as they saw him go drop down there, Guy. So, like, maybe that's why. Anyway, they just end up giving up 2, and Samplers doesn't even go sniper, so I don't know why he went in. Like, that wasn't the best opportunity by any means. Especially not off of heals. Ascent once again taking exchange here. So far, I think we're like 0-2 with how these exchanges went for Ascent. This time it looks a lot better. Bear pops pretty early. Nobody was even weak, so... You know, I mean, the drop players already coming in. So they couldn't really play this too brave anymore, but still pretty early pop. And Ascent doesn't even do anything with their own delay duber. And Ash and Alec just end up dying. One arguably overextends quite a bit. Burst just kind of lost fights. So again, this should have been just a clear case of Ascent taking the point, because Bear popped so early, but they just end up feeding themselves. After Feint fed so much in the beginning of that. Like get them there? Just really strange. Because none of that was like warranted in any way, shape or form. Like Alec was so far ahead of the rest of the team, alone against like everybody. And I get they're on like a disadvantage here score-wise by 2 rounds, but it was still a little bit too risky. Or way too little reward. Anyway, back to the drawing board, mid to second. Stalemate it is. Speed this up a little bit. Nothing's happening yet. Definitely just commits. Gets airshot immediately. That was a big flick. Cozen, stay safe in these. For the most part. What can Ascent do in return though? Rotate over big door. Bunch up. Throw something in eventually. And as you would expect, just gets thwarted down by scouts. So that's a really standard stalemate scenario, but there we go, now we see something more interesting. Off the kill, Bear pops in, well he pops 2 damage, but they come in here for the exchange. Question is how good it can be. But so far the answer is not really. Showstopper needs to die here, kind of. Sailor and Yite combine on that. At the same time though, the single kill would only be good if this was actually a like proper exchange. Not Cozen and Co just kiting this. Samplers can't get the force here, he does. That's really bad for Ascent right now, because they put so much emphasis on using late here. Or not at all really, to just use into mid in the first place. by trying to kite this, which they did until now. And then just afterwards, after everybody left, having a single scout force you to, after killing somebody as well, mind you, well, you already lost one in this, is just terrible right now. This Uber does nothing because everything is just too far away. They end up rotating, so they get another player, but Ash is surely just dead here, right? Like, there's no way he survives any of this. Which is just another kill. I know he survives for now, gets some health. Both scouts are really weak, but they are unable to actually kill him. So the scout just fast enough. And if that wouldn't have happened, this would have been a different story. Now Yite and Defi are just still dead while the spawns are coming in. So this was really close for Thane to actually work here. Ascent tries to brute force their way in, Showstopper dies pretty quickly to a scout, leading the charge here. Makes the fight go a whole lot worse. Nobody really wants to quit anymore. And he actually got a lot of damage leaving, so Thane wants to punish that. Because they know the damage, and makes perfect sense, so they just pressure with that immediately through choke. No sticks being up yet either, and the GT guy is still spawning, so this works pretty well. So great opportunity to second just mildly beef the envoys, and then turned around into mid, just like not a real commit either. And Feint used that pretty well, just tries to force early here. Does do that, but they would have popped any moment anyway. There's a pyro in front of them. Ascent uses as well, just in face of that. Safely played by Feint, they don't want to overstay, they'll welcome here, not get stuck after the Uber fades. So they leave early. Showstopper gets baited down in main, Yite tries to brute force another kill here. Don't think he will. At least he shouldn't. Happy Cool wants to bait another kill out with that, but again, not fast enough with that. Actually no, he does get Ash in the end. Didn't notice. That's actually big, that's 2 for 1. That's interesting, that's... Does Daffy switch to rocket launcher here? No, okay, never mind. Almost looked like he wanted to just go to the other rocket launcher and switch. Anyway, that worked pretty well. Just simple, plain exchange into trying to bait somebody into chasing, which happened with Showstopper, and then just keep outnumbering them on the overextending player. However, they drop Sandblast on entry. So that's a problem, because Happy Cool is a little bit too late on the point for the rest of the team. Plus the spawn is coming in already. Bit of sticky damage on the point, and I say a bit, it's a lot. Xayla gets 2. And that's just a round. Really well done by Feintler. Didn't look like it was a change, but they clearly had the second plan there with just baiting out Showstopper. Or baiting out something, doesn't matter who was the goal there, as long as they like were able to find something with that. The side was really good actually. Baited down the player, got 2 for 1. Dropping Sandblast early was a little bit sketchy, but they still got the time on the point the moment they could. And that's kind of what you want if they drop that many players, because they just don't have much for the point anymore if they don't want to just let you in for free. So it's a great lose-lose situation for the holding team. That Feint got them in, and that's 4-1 lead now. Marduk Showstopper going high, want to get on Bear, want to get on Sandblast, try to find something here. In the meantime, Daffy and Yite just throw their damage over to Kozen, get him pretty quickly as well. Sandblast denies one of the jumpers. Marduk is still around, Bear got up anyway, nobody would really chase him down there. And yeah, pretty aggressive mid all around by both teams here. Difference being obviously that one soldier duo was successful and the other one wasn't. As simple as that sounds, sometimes that's all you need. I mean, it also doesn't entirely depend on soldiers, but also on your scout. Sandblast helped quite a bit, not letting soldiers get too easily onto there. And that is a wrap for the mid fight, and if this works, a wrap for the game, it's an ad push, it's Pyro and this heavy up on the field, and crits for Kozen, but not up yet. Uber comes in straight into the Pyro, Scout is on the Uber, so it's not the end of the world here. Alec is trying to survive that. So far he does, but there's a question of how long he can do that for. So it gets the Pyro, the heavy is still there, and it's not like too feasible trying to kill him, so you just kind of wanted to have him leave. Realistically, try something else. Happy Cool Daffy try to get late in from lobby. Showstopper still gets a kill onto one of them. Daffy's kind of close to be able to deal with that. Sailor's sticking up spawn. Sandblast baiting the sticks on the point, has done so successfully. Yite jumps a bit early for actual denial of the spawns. Delays Kozen, helps maybe get some damage into Marmaduke, but dies for it as well. And Sandblast is busy having to fight Saigai from his position in secret. So they end up dropping players pretty quickly. The Heavy just leaves spawn again. And that's just a damage spawn they can't afford at this point, especially not with Showstopper still being around. So the pieces were there.
Alert. Our control point is being captured.
Sail on a point. Almost just gets it with a paint train he would have. Nice calls. Yeah, with the paint train he would have gotten that, unfortunately. He didn't have one, and Uber gets chased on as well with the crits. Probably just didn't know that. Everybody wants to get onto the back cap, but they don't have stuff for the like second Captain Island anymore, so Happy Cool can't get that. So if the crits didn't happen, this might have been a different story.
Our control point is
But as it stands, it just completely reverses the situation. Which is a shame. That started out pretty alright for our last push. Like, they had everything in position to where they needed it to go. It's just that the fights didn't go exactly the way they needed it to go. Showstopper got a kill behind in lobby. Yeah, he jumped a bit too early. And Saigai was in secret where the scout was busy dealing with him instead of capping the point. And that's just a shame. That was a really good start to that. And it would have been a pretty nice wrap, but Ascent able to hold onto it. See, Ascent come in here, lead them with the soldiers, because it's crits, so they need like a bait here, and puts Feint in a pretty sketchy situation. Yite wants to sack for the medic, but there's scouts around him, and they're playing careful, so that doesn't happen. Delays help for Show and Marmaduke, so that's kind of bad. Because the idea is pretty obvious with what they're trying to do here. Anyway, yes, Feint is destroying everything they have with the crits, and it's not getting too much, but it also is still getting stuff. Eventually Marmaduke just commits.
just being captured. Alert.
And that's kind of what I was hoping for. It just took them a while to get through choke. Which is to say, like the pressure of the crits coming in, with the soldiers already being through being annoying.
Time has been added.
And they don't want to let the soldiers get in for free, but they also don't want to stand close and choke denying them, because otherwise the crits just comes in. So they still took a long time to actually get through choke. The idea was clear. And eventually it was just enough to get things done, even though they kind of beefed trying to like stop people trying to kill Coulson, who was just under fire and choked for like 4 players in a row feeding. Anyway, what's the time? After the last round it was 20 minutes left. And this was a pretty long round. Anyway, crits add us up. They did kill Bear. And the sentry is getting spammed, which is important, needless to say, with this crits being up. Crit comes in, first one misses, Saigai tries some more. Marmaduke just jumps in over to the Angie, actually gets that. I like the split up here, which is just... I mean, I don't like that they don't have Scout on the Uber, because this is gonna happen. And while Saigai didn't kill anyone and didn't die either, it just took forever for them to deal with Yite. Anyway, they throw... What I do like in this is the split up 3 on the flank. Really aggressively just trying to outnumber the flank while the combo is doing everything on the right side. So 3 left, 2 right, and Alec late. Just throw themselves at the flank, deal a lot of damage, throw themselves at the point, deal some more damage. Bottom line is though, they don't actually kill anything. And Bear gets his Uber in time. So again, this was not bad by any means. But just failed a bit on DM part. Wasn't actually survived all of this, which is impressive. Sure, it only saved 10%, but you know, it's better than nothing. And in the Crits Reaver situation, it's actually worth quite a bit. It's not a bad attempt by Ascent. And for teams that play crits recently, they look like they have a little bit more of an idea what they do with it. Not naming names here. But it wasn't enough. If you don't hit your shots, even like on or off the crits. Stalemate, Feint just pops through choke pretty early. Doesn't put up enough pressure to actually bait out the crits, so this is sketchy now because it will come in sooner or later. And it's sooner rather than later. And it comes in here, gets Sailor pretty quickly. Definitely gets Marmaduke. Saigai is still trying. Bear's out, which is the most important one. And they mostly just kited, which is great. Let's get you for yet now that doesn't connect. People are still kind of weak though, Soldier and Scout down there. Samplast actually gets a kill onto Alec in the 1v1. Yet wants to commit Ash, just awkwardly body blocks him by accident. More than on purpose. Soldiers are in though, so he just need to actually commit with this. Ooh, Samplast gets destroyed, but he gets a kill for his troubles. I don't know why Yite and Bear are so scared in this. Like, they didn't have to be all the way in during that, but they kind of just had to like commit a bit sooner. Because this was just a DM fight in the end, on the point. And that's the end of the game, because ESEA demos are fun. And end early. So we can just like assume it was another decent ad push, because those have been good for Feint, I'd say. And there was some good stuff there by both teams. More so Feint, obviously. They had a lot more control over the game. For pretty much all of it. And yeah, that was pretty decent. Like, when they had control of the game, it was pretty one-sided. It's just that sometimes they couldn't do much with this in the stalemate situations. On ad, they looked pretty strong. And their exchanges looked a lot better than Ascent did, for the most part. Ascent looked like they had a plan with the crits as well when they had it for that little bit. Just that they beefed some shots in pretty much all the situations they used it for. Other than that, pretty interesting game, and Feint looked a lot better here than they did against Royal Black. And yeah, so that's a week 2 game, Feint and Ascent. Looking forward to some more ESEA games that I definitely can't watch live, so demos have to do.